That's a difficult passage right there. So I was clearly struggling with that. I am going to show you how I work through something that is difficult for me, and hopefully this will help you work on difficult passages like this. Hello students! Today we're looking at something I call working backwards, or if I'm being silly I'll call it playing backwards. We're not actually playing anything backwards, but we're working on sections of music that are difficult technical passages like the one I just tried to play. And we're going to start, instead of at the beginning and practicing it over and over again, instead of doing that from the beginning of the phrase, I'm actually going to start at the very end of it. So I'm just going to practice the end of it until I get pretty good at it, and then I'm going to back up a little bit. So this may look really tricky for some of you, and it is a little bit of a tricky passage, but what's more important than actually being able to play what I'm playing for you is the process that I'm going through of working through it. So I'm going to start on the last measure. I'm going to just play it slowly and make sure that I have all the notes where they need to be and that it sounds okay before I move backwards from there. So here's the last measure. So I played that a couple times. I'm going to try to speed that up. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to now back that up to the last half of the measure before that. So you notice there's groupings of 4 notes here. So I'm playing the last 2 groupings of, these are called 16th notes. So I'm going to do it slow again. I've already worked on that last passage, so hopefully the last passage will be good at least. Oh, is that right? Yep. Okay, so I got through that. I'm going to try that again. A little bit better. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to back up now to the last 3 groupings of 16th notes. And I'm going to see if I can get this to smooth out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to try that a little faster. No. Okay, that's coming along. Okay, so I got that. So now I need to go back. I'm going to try one more grouping of 16th notes. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause this for you. Actually, I'm going to play it as is. I'm going to go ahead and play as best I can at that speed and see how it goes. And then I'm going to pause the video and work on it a little bit by going backwards and backwards and backwards. And what this does for us is I'm getting better and better at the ending of this passage because I'm going to be practicing it a lot. Already, I think on the video, I've practiced that last measure probably 6 times-ish, something like that. And as I back up a little bit more and more, I'm going to be practicing that last phrase a lot. So I should get better and better at it as I go. So I'm going to just try this for you right now, that whole last phrase, and let's just see how well I can play it at that speed. It's probably not going to be very good. Okay, so I fumbled a little bit. I'm going to continue working backwards. I'll try the measure before it. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm going to come back and play it when I feel like I'm pretty confident. Okay, so I've practiced the last 3 measures now for a few minutes, and I'm getting pretty happy with it. It's certainly coming along. I'm just going to play this for you as is. I might make some mistakes. I might try to work through it a little bit, or it might come out beautifully. We'll find out. This is all part of the process of practicing and getting good at difficult technical passages. So here's the last 3 measures where I am so far. Oh no, I fumbled on the end there, so I'm going to go over that one more time. Alright, so I'm going to try the last 3 measures again. Okay, not perfect, but pretty good. So I'm going to spend a few minutes working on the first measure of this passage to the end, And I'll get back to, I'm going to pause the video and come back to you, and we'll see what my progress is after a few more minutes. Alrighty, so I put a few minutes now into working on that first measure. And then before I tackle that, I wanted to tell you what I was struggling with was not so much that first measure. It was the second grouping and the third grouping, trying a little trickery with the slide. And for me, that was really tough to get through. So I spent a lot of time on just those two, putting those two together. And I spent a lot of time just doing those two before I tackled the whole thing. So here, I'm going to try that whole string now, and if I'm hoping that after practicing that a bunch, it sounds a lot better than it did in our opening of this video, huh? Let's see how this sounds. Last 4 measures here. Oh, no. That's certainly an improvement, I think, over where I was just, 15 minutes ago or so. So this is a great way to practice anything that is very tricky for you, especially these technical fast passages. Start at the end of the passage and work your way backwards from there. You're going to find the success will come a lot faster on something like this. So for follow-up folks, for the students who've signed up, let's go ahead and find a passage. It doesn't have to be nearly as tricky as this, but if there's something that you want to work on, let's go through this process together and get through this difficult technical stuff by working backwards, or if you're being silly, playing backwards. All right, bye now.